Hello to the world today. Can I hear a louder cheer, please? I'm going to tell you why. Before I start my little sharing session, here's one thing. I battled the jam. I was up since 6 a.m. today to attend the Global Peace Convention since the morning. I had to rush over to do some office work. You know, work continues, life continues, right? Getting stuck in a 3-hour jam in Kuala Lumpur, rushed here, gave my slides to Zikri, and I hope that, I'm a little bit tired, but my spirit is right here. So what I want to do is really, if you could give me a round of applause, just welcome me here. Thank you. All right, we're going to try something. Today, literally, the world is in Malaysia. So I would like to hear some chants, right? I'm going to mention the different regions, and I wanted to yell out as loud as you can. Only your region. Are we good? Yes? Fantastic. Let's start with Africa. Africa right there. Lots of love, lots of love. Let's start with Asia. Lots of love, Asia. Let's start with South America. Great, great. Still lots of love right there. Let's start with Europe. Europe. Do we have Europe around here? Make some noise. The Oceanic region, Australia, New Zealand. Make some noise. All right, there you go, there you go. Ah, the world is really right here. Do we have any representatives from Russia? Fantastic! Having a crowd can change the lives of the many, but you need one person or a few people to have that passion to make that change happen. Can we agree? Fantastic. Thank you very much for welcoming here. I would like to share with you my story. Now, as you go through my journey, as I invite you to imagine what I've gone through as a youth like yourself, 26 years old this year, and I'm quickly aging, you will tend to realize that perhaps I've achieved quite a lot. But like many of my talks today, I'm not here to talk about what I've achieved. I'm here to talk about how vulnerable I can be, and how we actually gain victory, triumph across our weaknesses. Are we good with that? Can I continue? Fantastic. Now, I would like to advocate a message today. It's called Succeeding While Doing Good. Today, I'll bring you through some lessons on the power of gratitude, saying thank you, being grateful with what you have. I've had the great opportunity to work with our brothers and sisters from Africa. In the year 2011, I traveled extensively across the African continent, working in orphanages, in villages, in education. And that taught me how to be grateful, not only with what I have, but to be grateful that I was blessed with the opportunity to help others. Power of sharing. Why is the power of sharing so important for us? And that's a journey I'll share with you. I've also traveled extensively in Latin America to the cities of Guatemala, Mexico, Peru, Honduras. I understand that we have Brazil, Paraguay in the house. I would love to go there in the future. But I'm going to share with you how the power of sharing has impacted my life, and more so how this culminated to the power of what I called progress for good. Now, this is what I believe. How many of you here want to be a change maker? Can I see a raise of hands, please? All of you should be raising your hands. All of you, because you're here, you're with all like-minded people. The people that are most likely going to make your ideas happen are sitting around you right now. For them to brave through the horrendous traffic jam of the capital city of Kuala Lumpur to be here, they are most likely those who would want to work with you. Can I ask one thing? Turn to the person next to you and just give them a high five. Just give them a high five. Come on. Give them a high five. Come on. Fantastic. Fantastic. Thanks, guys. Thanks. All right. Stop hitting each other. Stop hitting each other. Okay. I've seen some people are hitting each other right there. Okay. Stop. You right there. Okay. All right. Give yourself a round of applause for that. Now, I've always believed to become a change maker, a successful, a sustainable one, you need to achieve this concept: people gain and personal growth. Now, what do we mean? When we set out to be a leader, or we set out to be an entrepreneur, or we set out to be a change maker, the first thing we have to think about is how can our effort impact the lives of others? Am I right? All the speakers have shared how they've changed the lives of others and how you can change the lives of the people around you too. Am I right? But think about it. How do we sustain such interests? This is when you need to be honest with yourself and admit it. We all crave for personal growth. So the best formula right here is when you create an effort to help people, start asking yourself, how can you grow as an individual so that you can help more people, so you can change more lives, so you can be that better change agent you want to be. This is what I'll be advocating in my sharing session today. Now, in my life, I'll give you a little bit of background. I've had the opportunity to be mentored by really successful people. They've taught me a lot, including Tan Sri Tony Fernandez, the owner of our red low-cost airline AirAsia. I've traveled extensively. You can't really see the pyramids right there, but I traveled extensively this was in Mexico City. And at the same time, I've had the opportunity to also be mentored and trained during my university days in consulting firms, and also furthering my studies to higher learning institutions. Whenever I share this with people, they tend to think I'm really smart. Now, let me share with you, again, the session today is dedicated to show you how vulnerable we can be and how most of the time our main strength doesn't come from who we are alone, it comes from the people around us. But how can I prove that? It is through a very special project that I've done. In the year 2011, I've had the opportunity to travel around the world. That was when I visited your countries in Africa, in Latin America, in Europe. And that was a time when I had the opportunity to work on projects, to work with governments, businesses, and NGOs, and young people like yourself to impact change. And it was during this time I was involved in well-building projects in Peru, house construction for the hardcore poor in Colombia. These were some of the projects that I was involved in. So in all, I'm 26 this year. I've had the opportunity to work in 30 countries, consulted governments, NGOs, and businesses, and did work with people like yourself. But this is something that I discovered. The more we are grateful and the more we share the goodness. And this is what I call the power of progress for good. What does this mean? If you can imagine, when you embark on a new adventure, when you embark on a new effort, start thinking about the more you are grateful of the thing that you're doing, the more you will make the best of your moment. The more you're grateful of the things you're doing, the more you will appreciate every opportunity. And the more you share the goodness of what you do, the more people you can inspire, the more people you will move to work, the more opportunities and growth you will realize. Can we all agree on that? Now, I understand, you have to understand I come from a consulting background, and I understand that we don't like models too much. But one thing I want to share with you is this model has particularly worked for me, and I've seen a lot of young people like yourself, driven, highly passionate, they have used something similar. But let me share. This was a project in Arequipa, Peru. Any Peruvians here? Any Peruvian friends? Okay, not yet. We need to reach out next year. Well, we have one who cheered. Now, in this project, we were involved to construct a well, a water tank, in the desert mountains of Arequipa to provide clean water for families there. It was through this example that I realized that everything we do in life is interrelated. The children there do not get access to proper education because every day before this water tank was built, they had to walk at least 3 hours to a nearby river to fetch clean water back to their homes, and 2-3 hours back to fetch water every time they need water. And because of that, the main priority for their parents would be the survival of the family. Hence, comparing sending kids to school to kids fetching water, I think you all know which one they picked for most of them. They're living in the desert mountains, as you could see. So I was there with 12 other volunteers, and we actually constructed a water tank, which basically provided water for 200 families. It actually managed to provide water for 200 families there. But here's the thing that I realized. I may have come from the most prestigious university in the world. I may have been mentored by the top successful entrepreneurs. But when I was constructing that well, I found out I didn't even know how to put a nail properly on this stick. I was lost. I thought all those consulting backgrounds, all those years of being an entrepreneur, and I couldn't even build a shack, I couldn't even build a water tank for these families there. But this is when, instead of being all negative, I started to be grateful. I started to think, perhaps there's more that I can learn from people. I do not know how to saw a wood right. I do not know how to nail a nail into the wall right. That's something I can learn. And the more that I'm grateful, I realized the more I started sharing. We started going around to the villages and sharing with them, asking them to teach us, and then they always feel that you are a foreigner in our country. What can we teach you? And we're always there to say, teach us how to even blend the cement. Teach us to how to nail a proper wood in. And this is what we found out. The volunteers, we started doing more paintings. We started doing things right to build a water tank. But one thing we realized, the more we shared about what we didn't know, the more it inspired the locals to help us. So in the end, we got their own villages to help us build a water tank, which was meant for them. Hence why I came to a conclusion from this example. Yes, we admitted we are not the best. We may have come from the top business schools in the world, but we are not the best in everything we do. We admitted that. We are grateful for the opportunity. But at the same time, we shared our vulnerability, and we shared it with the people around us who cared. And then they, in the end, helped us build a well that managed to provide water for 200 families. What do you guys think about that? Can you ask yourself right now the question, how often do you admit your weakness? How often do you admit that you may not know everything in the world? Even the slightest, most common sense things. And if you just ask someone next to you, can you help me? And people will help. You will move people to help. Next example, this is a little bit different. I've been volunteering in projects, but I decided to invest my time speaking, advocating, promoting the development of good movements around the world. But it was during this time I started with a small crowd, not as large as you guys. I started with a small crowd in the different countries I go to. Whoever that wanted to listen, I shared. I never claimed I was an expert. What I did was I was just sharing a story. And it was during this time when I started to share and tell people a story that perhaps is not that spectacular anyway. It's just a story of what I was investing in as an individual to help their people around them. And it was during this time that we started to be grateful again for the opportunity that people gave us to talk, to air our voice through the microphones and through the megaphones. And it was during this time that we started to share even more. Because as you start telling people what you're passionate about, as you start telling people what you love doing, people are listening. And when people are listening, it makes you feel great. And when you feel great, you feel passionate, you feel confident about sharing what you believe in, you share even more. And it was during this time we realized we moved more people. And this happened in a global summit called One Young World, which I was involved in London and Switzerland. We addressed 2,000 people on the global stage from 192 countries. And in the end, youth leaders like ourselves here brought it to YouTube and launched a global movement. They shared their different stories from the different regions that they come from to inspire their own people. Were they remarkable young people? When I got to know them, they were like all of us. They were ordinary. But because they were willing to share, that made them extraordinary. So think about it. You may not have a story that you feel is worth it to share right now, but that is you. Start talking to the people in your community. Start talking to the people in your class. And then you will see how you can inspire them and move them further. And of course, you start sharing more passionately, people give you the global stage to share. So never belittle your ideas. I was surprised when CNN gave me the opportunity. But that just shows people are willing to listen if you have a good message. Would you all agree? Can I please hear one round of applause if you all agree on that, please? Thank you. Now, the last project or the last example I'm going to share is that after I returned from my world trip, speaking, working on projects, I started developing businesses with a good focus or with a good conscience. And it was during this time I started work with a team of young people, and we wanted to see, are all successful people around the world, those featured on CNN, those who are TED speakers, those who hold Guinness World Records, those who are listed in Forbes' rich list, did they start out doing good for the community? And this was the time where we started a book project, or what we call the Potential Matrix, where we decided to decipher what these successful people have done while doing good to get to where they are today. And the results was amazing. We started going around nationwide in Malaysia. We hope to go global next year or so. We started doing talks, sharing with people about the strategies that all these successful people have shared. And it is very true. These people shared with us strategies that have made them successful, but strategies that showed that they gave, that they inspired others, that they were grateful with the opportunities that they had. When they started a business with no money, when they went into bankruptcy, and when they came right back up, they were grateful of the learning experience, and that made them great. The last example right here was a recently concluded TEDx youth event, which I had the opportunity to be a part of. Thank you. In this event, our dream was simple. We wanted to cultivate talents, and we wanted to realize their dreams of being involved in an epic project. So we were grateful that we were blessed with an abundance of energetic young people like yourself who wanted to do something meaningful. We shared with them what opportunity we have. And then in the end, when they did a powerful event that inspired the whole nation, we discovered that we helped them realize their dreams. We helped them uncover more talents, and we helped them do more good by giving a platform for lesser-known speakers to share what they have done right, what they have done well for their country and their people. Just to recap, remember this model? When you want to be a change maker, always remember this. How do you make the people that you serve happy? That's important. But always remember as well, how can you make yourself happy? And I've always believed the pursuit of happiness in being a change maker or a meaningful leader starts with us being grateful, making the best of every moment, and us sharing what we have done to inspire others to uncover their own potential towards greatness. I thank you again for your time, and I hope this strategy or this theory would have helped you further develop your dream. Be more grateful, but at the same time, share. Each one of us here have our own unique story that is set to inspire. Thank you, everyone, and thank you for your time.